Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
The fight for the Strait of Hormuz ramps up. A housing bill passes while home sales drop. The death of Senator Lindsey Graham, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. A dangerous heat wave will build across the U.S. this week, with triple-digit highs expected to spread from the southwest to the east coast. High humidity will increase the risk of heat-related illnesses, and locations in the Rockies and northern plains could approach the hottest temperatures on record. In California, temperatures near 100 degrees sparked a fast-spreading blaze in Los Angeles County that covered 2,700 acres on Friday. U.S. and Iranian forces exchanged missile and drone attacks across the Gulf on Sunday. U.S. Central Command reported that American forces struck 140 Iranian military targets on Saturday, including missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, ammunition storage, communications equipment, and coastal surveillance systems. The command reported more than 300 targets hit over 3 nights. Iran launched retaliatory strikes towards Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Jordan, Oman, and Kuwait. Qatar reported 3 people injured by falling shrapnel, including a child. Kuwait reported damage and 1 worker injured at an oil drilling platform. Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz closed after accusing vessels and U.S. forces of unauthorized movements. The United States maintained that Iran does not control the strait and that commercial traffic was continuing. A U.S. Navy-led maritime center reported that an expanded southern route near Oman remained available, while classifying the security threat as severe. Oman rescued 23 crew members from the damaged container ship GFS Galaxy. India reported that 1 Indian crew member remained missing. Israel warned the United States of a new Iranian plan to assassinate President Trump, according to a Thursday report by the Wall Street Journal. The warning indicating Tehran was actively considering targeting Trump personally, an escalation beyond older threats tied to the 2020 U.S. strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Trump alluded to the assassination threat on Wednesday, telling reporters, "I guess I've been a little bit lucky, but that maybe doesn't last very long." Meanwhile, Israel's leaders are publicly signaling that their country is prepared to strike Iran for a 3rd time, while a U.S. official told Fox News Digital that Washington remains closely coordinated with Jerusalem. The IDF is on high alert and prepared to resume the campaign, regain air superiority, and carry out an independent Israeli strike against Iran to eliminate threats, even for a 3rd time, Israel Defense Forces Minister Israel Katz said Thursday at a graduation ceremony for the Israeli Air Force's newest pilots. "If we have to return, we will return with even greater force," Katz added. A housing bill passed by Congress became law at midnight Saturday. President Donald Trump did not sign the bill, but did not veto it. The 21st Century Road to Housing Act is a comprehensive law that was designed to make housing more affordable and increase housing supply. The housing bill includes measures that modernize building standards, encourage renovating older homes, encourage communities to build more housing with funding and grant programs, local governments to reform restrictive zoning policies around building housing, and effectively ban private equity from buying up single-family homes. Sales of existing homes in the U.S. slipped 2.4%, despite economists projecting a 0.7% increase, the Wall Street Journal reported. The national median home price also rose to $440,600, an all-time high. The data puts a damper on what had been a relatively strong spring for the housing market, with easing mortgage rates from the winter suggesting that it was emerging from a years-long slump. But the war in Iran has contributed to rates once again surging. Economists have now adjusted their 2026 forecast down from 4.13 million home sales to 4.1 million, though that's still a 1% improvement from last year. Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement on his health on Sunday, along with a photo of himself and his wife, Elaine Chao, after questions swirled about his condition. McConnell said he was briefly unconscious after he took a fall last month, and he had been dealing with a mild case of pneumonia. The 84-year-old Kentucky Republican has been hospitalized since June 14th, his office said. On the same day, emergency medical personnel responded to an unconscious person at McConnell's home, according to a public EMS dispatch call reviewed by CBS News earlier this month. Senator Lindsey Graham, the Republican from South Carolina, died Saturday evening following a brief and sudden illness, according to a statement from his office. He was 71. On the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness, his office said. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period, it continued. The D.C. Medical Examiner preliminary found he died of an aortic dissection, a rupture of the aorta, after medics responded to his Capitol Hill home for chest pains. Graham was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2002 and won re-election 3 times. He was seeking a 5th Senate term after winning the Republican primary last month. Before joining the Senate, Graham was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1994, becoming the first Republican to represent South Carolina's 3rd Congressional District since 1877. Graham served 33 years in the U.S. Air Force, Air National Guard, and Air Force Reserve, retiring as a colonel in 2015. An Air Force lawyer, he served in Germany during the Cold War, was called to active duty during the Gulf War, and later completed multiple reserve deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan during congressional recesses. That's the Raw Naked Truth for July 13th, 2026. Remember to like and subscribe to the Raw Naked Truth wherever you listen to podcasts. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.